Hello everyone, welcome back to Coffee Crime with Doncha. I am so happy you are spending your time with me today. Grab your favorite mug, sit back and let's jump straight into today's case. Before we start, here's your quick reminder. If you enjoy listening to my podcast, please take 2 seconds to hit that follow or subscribe button on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, on YouTube, or wherever you listen. Leaving a 5-star review also helps the podcast grow, and I appreciate every single one of you. Today we are traveling to England, to the county of Buckinghamshire, to cover an unsolved murder from July 26 that a senior detective called it, quote, the most horrible crime I've ever seen. It is the story of 23-year-old Beata Bryl, a young Polish woman who moved to England looking for a better life, only to end up trapped in a nightmare of abuse, threats, and a brutal murder that remains unsolved to this day. Also, before we begin, a trigger warning. Today's episode discusses domestic violence, human trafficking, physical assault, and mental health struggles. So if these topics are hard for you, please feel free to skip this episode and take care of yourself. Alright guys, I am Doncha. This is Coffee Crime with Doncha and the unsolved murder of Beata Bryl. Beata Bryl was born on February 27th in 1983 in Gliwice, a city in southern Poland. Her family and friends call her Bibi, and she grew up in traditional Catholic household, spoke fluent English, and of course dreamed of moving to Britain to build a career and support her family. After brief jobs in Germany, working in catering and modeling, Beata moved apparently to London in 2003 when she was 20 years old. She moved to the UK with a much older boyfriend, a man around 38 years old, referred to in Polish media as Dariusz or Darek. I am not exactly sure because some of media mention Dariusz, other Darek, so we will see. At first, things seemed great. Beata worked in catering and security, sent money back to Poland to help her unemployed mother Maria, and even took a holiday to France with her boyfriend. But within a year, the situation turned dark. Beata told her mother that her boyfriend became extremely physical and abusive. She suspected he was exploiting her and forcing her into human trafficking and sex work. Whenever Beata tried to leave him and run away, he tracked her down and threatened her. In August 2005, the constant stress led to a mental breakdown, and Beata spent a week in a London hospital. Her mother Maria desperately tried to get help from the Polish consulate in London, Polish police, and Interpol to bring her daughter home, but she received letters stating they could not assist her. In October 2005, Beata managed to escape back to her mother's flat in Poland. Maria described her daughter as looking exhausted, painfully thin, and terrified. However, her older boyfriend kept calling her every single day, pressuring her to return. In February 2006, Beata went back to London. Over the spring of 2006, Beata called her mother late at night crying, saying she was being taken places in cars against her will. On Thursday, July 27th, 2006, just 2 days before her body was found, Beata called her mother while Maria was traveling on train in Poland. Beata was terrified. She told her mother that people were threatening to kill her and were also threatening Maria's life. She told her mother to go home immediately and lock all the doors. During that phone call, Beata said a chilling phrase to her mother, quote, "I have to save others. There is no salvation for me." Oh my guys. This gives me chills, really. Now, let's look at the timeline of Friday, July 28, 2006 in London. At around 2:20 p.m., CCTV captures Beata inside Nationwide Building Society branch on Lea Bridge Road in East London, where she withdraws around £50 from her account. At 4:30 p.m., she is seen walking along the platform at Leyton tube station before boarding a train. Between 11:27 and 11:32 p.m., the final CCTV footage of Beata alive shows her at the Leytonstone underground station in East London. She is alone, wearing a limited edition red Adidas jacket with the word "on fire" across the front, grey knee-length trousers and white trainers. She is also carrying two bags, a JanSport backpack, either beige, light blue or light pink, and a white plastic carrier bag from the store MK1. At 11:32 p.m., she boards a Central Line train. That is the last confirmed sign of Beata Bryl alive. On Saturday, July 29, 2006, around 12:50 p.m., that is about 13 hours after Beata boarded the train, a driver named John Leonard Deacon pulled over a Hedsor Lane near the quiet village of Wooburn Green, Buckinghamshire, around 50 miles away from East London. John stepped into the woods and saw smoke coming from a near tree. At first, he thought it was a burning mannequin. When he walked closer, he realized it was a smoldering human body. Police rushed to the scene. The body was wrapped in bed lining with a pillowcase featuring a pattern of hearts and stars covering the head and had been doused in petrol and set on fire. Because of the extreme fire damage, police could not identify the victim immediately. The Home Office pathologist Dr. Kenneth Shorrock performed the autopsy. He confirmed the victim was dead before being set on fire and there was no smoke in her lungs. The cause of death was horrific. She had suffered 21 distinct laceration to her head and scalp caused by a heavy object with a threatened screw-type pattern, suggesting something like a steering wheel lock. Pathologists found no evidence of sexual assault at the scene. So at first, police only had a few clues. A tattoo of a rearing Pegasus, a winged horse, on her upper right arm. A yellow metal ring in the shape of a coiled snake worn on her middle finger, and remnants of a red fleece jacket. So police released drawing of the tattoo and the ring and checked dental records. A security guard also reported seeing a suspicious dark van parked near the wood with its doors wide open around the time of discovery. In mid-August 2006, police matched the CCTV from Leytonstone station to Beata's description, and 1 month after the body was found, DNA tests officially confirmed the victim was 23-year-old Beata Bryl. Her mother, Maria, could not afford £2,000 required to transport Beata's body back to Poland. A Catholic relief charity called Caritas set up a public donation fund, and Beata was finally buried on October 7th, 2006 in Gliwice. So at first, police arrested her 38-year-old ex-boyfriend in August 2006, but released him on bail 24 hours later. Over the course of the investigation, police arrested between 13 and 20 people, but unfortunately all were eventually released without charge due to the lack of direct evidence. Over the years, Thames Valley Police issued multiple appeals offering rewards of £10,000, then £25,000 and releasing CCTV footage on the 8th and 10th anniversaries of her murder. However, key pieces of evidence were never found. At first, the bags. Neither her JanSport backpack nor her MK1 carrier bag was ever recovered. The police established that Beata was killed at an unknown location in London or West London before her body was transported 50 miles to Buckinghamshire in a vehicle. So they also do not know the exact murder location. And also they do not know the motive. While her mother firmly maintained that Beata was murdered by people linked to organized crime and human trafficking, police publicly stated in 2007 that they had no direct evidence linking her murder to prostitution gangs, leaving the exact motive unclear. Chief Inspector Colin Seaton, who led the investigation, publicly stated, quote, "To bludgeon someone so brutally with a heavy object and to do it with such ferocity and force does beggar belief." To this day, nobody has ever been charged with the murder of Beata Bryl. Beata Bryl came to the UK hoping for a brighter future, but her life was cut short in a horrific act of violence. Her mother fought tirelessly to save her daughter, and her family still deserves justice and answers. If you have any information about Beata Bryl's murder, or if you recognize the details from the London or Wooburn Green in July 2006, please contact Thames Valley Police on 101 or Crime Stoppers anonymously. Also, I would love to hear your thoughts on this case. What are your opinions, guys? What do you think could have happened? What stood out to you about the investigation into Beata's disappearance? Let's talk in the comments. Also, if you found this episode interesting, please share it with a friend, leave a 5-star review on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, give me a thumbs up on YouTube, and make sure you subscribe so you won't miss other episodes. Thank you guys so much for spending your time with me today. Look out for one another, stay safe, keep your coffee warm, and I will see you next time for episode 13. Love you guys, bye.